cast from the coast.
There's no more room in hell. The dead will walk here.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Here's Johnny.
She just goes a little mad sometimes. We all go a little mad sometimes.
This 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face, the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. The boogeyman is real, and you found him.
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
Have you checked the children?
Welcome everybody to episode 42 of They Cast from the Coast. My name is Adam Miles, and I have with me, as always, Tim. Cloudy in the mountains, sunny in the valley, and snow flurries up your nose, Johnson.
Wow.
I like that. I like that.
I like it. It was
That's
descriptive and it was long. Yeah, I like it.
It was a little bit different than the norm, so yeah. On purpose. How you doing, Tim?
Very cool.
This Santa Claus hat's like cutting off my circulation, but besides that, I'm good.
That's what they
I'm good.
do.
I'm good. I'm
Well,
good.
And you bring up a point. You're wearing a Santa Claus hat. Look, we're wearing Santa Claus hats.
I know.
Why would that
it's
be,
December
Tim?
now? December.
December.
So are we gonna officially call it now?
All right, Dave.
Month? What's the
Dave,
month?
what month is it?
Welcome, everybody, to our second annual December to Dismember.
Nicely.
Little out of practice, guys. Little out of practice, but
That's okay. We have all month to get it right.
all right.
That's right. So, back to Tim. How you doing, buddy?
After all that, I'm very lightheaded.
Oh,
No, I'm good. I'm good.
excellent, man. What have you been up to?
Good. Normal stuff. Editing pictures. Now editing video for a special little show that, I don't mean to, take all the credit for, or, the idea, or the editing, but, No, I'm kidding. Just basically working on our episodes for Film Gloria and editing pictures for Misunderstood Photography, and just watching movies and playing video games and, normal Tim stuff.
Normal Tim stuff. So, I heard that we rounded up a guest for a couple of future episodes of Film Gloria.
Yes. Should we say, or do you want to keep it a surprise?
Go right ahead. By the time that people see this, it'll probably be out there anyway.
It's true. We adored him so much on episode 40 of They Cast from the Coast, coming and taking his time and giving it his time to talk about his masterpiece of a fan film, Never Hike Alone.
Yeah.
We, for 3 episodes, got Mr. Vincent De Santis to come in and shoot the shit with us about, some of the favorite entries of this beloved horror franchise we call Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Good times. Good times.
Good times.
Yeah, I can't wait. Because, first and foremost, Vincent made the fan film because he is himself a super friggin' fan. And talking with him last time and having sidebar conversations with him, we are absolutely, me especially, I'm just absolutely floored by his just love and general knowledge of the series. It's great. So I can't wait to see how that goes. That'll be great.
Yeah, no, they were a lot of fun to record, and just, the 4 of us getting together and shooting the shit about these specific movies was just a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and I can't wait to share them, on the internets.
On the internets, the interwebs. Mm-hmm. Excellent. Yep. Right on. So, okay. Moving on down the table, I guess we have Dave! The other Miles. How you doing, buddy?
The other Miles?
The other white meat. The other Miles.
Oh.
How you doing, buddy?
And yeah, I'm doing good.
What's up with your hat? I just noticed your hat because there's way too much white, and then I'm oh, it's a white hat. Okay,
It looks more like a nightcap, like one of those.
It's the only one I could find. I know I have a red one around here somewhere, but
genius,
I found
isn't
this
it,
one.
it's the thought. It's the thought that counts.
There's
You
more
showed
red
up
on
with
there's
a
more
hat
red
on.
on your white headphones.
Yeah, exactly.
That's honestly what I thought was the hat, right?
the little band there. Yeah.
Little
And then I turned, and you were like, "Wait a minute, what is that?"
Is he getting ready to go to bed on us?
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice. What have you
Pretty
been up
much. Oh, been up to watching movies, getting ready for an upcoming vacation, doing a lot of rehearsals for the big play in March, and it just seems like where did the time go? It's flying by. It's crazy. Christmas is going to be here before you know it. How crazy is that? So, I mean, our second annual December to Dismember.
Yeah.
How crazy is that?
Exactly. So for anybody who doesn't remember, and I hope you do, or for anybody who's just kind of joining us and haven't gone that far back into the backlog of our episodes, our December to Dismember is in fact when we focus our efforts on all things holly and jolly and bloody and gory. So we will be talking about various Christmas-based horror movies and franchises and everything else. Starting with tonight, obviously, said decor on our heads would probably spark that thought. But last year we covered some incredible movies such as Black Christmas, Silent Night, Deadly Night, etc. So we're going to keep up the tradition this year, and we're going to do a couple more. Unfortunately, our Christmas time period is going to be cut a little bit short because, as David said, he's going to be going on vacation. So we're going to try to get a bunch of stuff recorded and released as per normal. But you might be listening to a few extra episodes of Film Gloria versus
which I
theater.
think is better in the long run anyway. It's a far superior edited show. There's special effects in it. There's a dance segment. Like
There's a dance segment. Wait, you recorded that?
oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Behind the scenes coming soon,
Yeah.
I compare the two shows like They Cast from the Coast is a nice cup of coffee, whereas Film Gloria is more like the espresso shot that gets you wired. It's a little bit smaller, but it gets you wired. So, excellent. What else, Dave? Anything else?
Not much, man. Not much. My plate is full right now, and I honestly wish I had more time to watch movies and stuff. But theater life's been keeping me busy lately. So
Theatrical life has been keeping you busy. Okay.
You bet. Yeah. But I'm looking forward to tonight's show. I'm looking forward to discussing everything holly and jolly in our first show for December to Dismember this year, and Christmas horror. I mean, how cool is that, right?
I love Christmas horror.
Awesome.
Love Christmas horror.
Yeah.
So let's kind of take a jump.
I didn't. You cut out a little bit, and all it sounded like you said was, "I love Christmas." I really love
Christmas.
I didn't hear the horror part. I saw you say it, but
at least
his mouth moved.
Yeah, exactly. My mouth.
I loved Christmas.
I love Christmas.
I love it.
So let's take a step back here for a second and just kind of reiterate to people. We're going to talk for a second before we move on to the actual episode. We're just going to mention out there and toss out some great ideas. Maybe some of this you'll see in the show this year. Maybe it'll be next year or otherwise. But guys, great Christmas horror films. What's your favorites, guys? Tim.
What's my favorite?
Well, not even just one. What do you watch every year?
Well, after last year's Christmas series of December to Dismember that we did, I revisited a lot of films that we talked about that I haven't seen in years. Black Christmas, Silent Night, Deadly Night. Those are now going to be my Christmas movies. But I have to say my favorite Christmas-themed kind of horror movie will always be Gremlins. Always.
Good one.
Always, because I saw that. I shouldn't have seen that, but I saw that in the theater when it came out. My dad took me, right? I remember getting a Gizmo, like, stuffed animal. My cousin had a life-size, like, plastic stripe. Like, I loved Gremlins, but it terrified me at the same time.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. It's one of
And
those...
then
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. It's one of
And
those...
then I couldn't understand why they were so mean to Gizmo. Like, just leave him alone. They're picking on him and shit.
Cute.
Yeah. But that to me is my Christmas go-to movie horror-wise. I mean, my favorite Christmas movie of all time is a toss-up between National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation and Christmas Story, right? Like, those are my two, but my favorite horror Christmas-themed movie is Gremlins.
Nice.
That was very long-winded. That was very long-winded. I'm sorry.
No, but that's good because we want to know about Tim, as if we already don't know about Tim from 42 episodes. But we want to know more about Tim.
I feel like I channeled my inner Dave there.
Oh. Are you saying I go on too long and talk too long? Is that what you're saying? Huh?
No. No.
Santa
I'm just
Claus.
teasing.
So what are you really saying, Tim?
I'm teasing.
Santa,
I know.
Love you, man. All right. Dave!
Yo.
Christmas movies.
How come you don't say my name like that? You go, Tim. Dave!
Because Tim gets the names. Dave gets his name.
I
Tim
want
gets the
a
special
Tim!
name. Tim gets the special names. Dave gets his name set special.
Yeah, I just get the long, dragged out Dave! Like he's grunting. Dave! Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry. Sorry, go ahead.
Dave!
Hey!
horror.
Let me see. My favorite Christmas-themed horror movie would have to be Black Christmas. Usually I alternate every year. Like one year I'll watch Black Christmas. Christmas Eve. So Christmas Eve after the kids go to bed, I'm watching Black Christmas or Silent Night, Deadly Night. Those are kind of the two that I kind of rotate. This year I'm going to be watching Black Christmas again, for Christmas. But those are my two go-to movies for Christmas. I mean, there's a ton of Christmassy, wintry themed movies. Gremlins is great. I mean, I watch Gremlins every year, but the go-to movies as far as Christmas horror, like all-out horror, would be Black Christmas and Silent Night, Deadly Night. And Black Christmas would probably be a step above Silent Night, Deadly Night for me. I think it's far superior.
Why though? Because for me personally, if I had to pick between the two, I like Silent Night, Deadly Night more because, like, the cheesy acting and, like, the in and out. Like, because remember I was saying, like, the version I watched was, like, Blu-ray quality and then, like, horribly shitty VHS quality and then back to Blu-ray quality, like, in the same scene. Yeah. I love that. But Olivia Hussey is by far the hottest, worst actress I've ever seen in a film. And I thought, maybe it was just because it was this movie. It could have been her first actual movie, and she was overacting and didn't know when to pull it back. No, because then when I watched it, she did the same fucking thing, and it was like 15 years later. She has all this experience. No.
Same role,
and
same
hot.
performance.
Like, I think she's so hot, but god damn, just tone it down a little bit, Miss Hussey.
She was yelling at John Boy.
I know.
So, why do I like Black Christmas over Silent Night, Deadly Night? Again, they're both good, but to me, Black Christmas is steeped in atmosphere. It's not meant to be over the top. I mean, yes, some performances are Olivia Hussey for sure, but it's
hello.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
But it plays very well as a early slasher, drenched in atmosphere. I mean, it's claustrophobic. The killer in the house, and it's just it just has so much going for it. It's just it to me, it's a top notch, well directed, well written movie. Well,
it was the inspiration for Halloween, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
so it's awesome. Totally.
Yep. Cool. In terms of classic...
What about you, Adam?
Well, thank you, Dave.
Adam!
In terms of traditional horror classic Christmas movies, I gotta go with Silent Night, Deadly Night. I really do. Black Christmas is fantastic, but what it spawned was better, Halloween. But when it comes to Christmas movies, Silent Night, Deadly Night always struck a deeper chord with me. It was just a better movie in a lot of ways, in my opinion.
You just like Garbage Day.
Garbage Day. That's part 2 with his little brother, but still. Moving on. Garbage Day.
What was it? Ricky was in the first one. What's his brother? Ricky was his brother. Billy.
Really?
It was Billy in the first one.
Tim's gonna look that up in a second.
I'm literally like right there right now. Just hold on.
Oh my! But regardless, and Tim will find this out in a second here. It's just in general. I love the whole movie, right down to the ending when they're like in the building and they break in and he's and they take care of him and stuff. Right? It's great. It has some of the more memorable deaths, and I love his actual descent into madness. I thought it's fantastic. Like that, I like that about the movie. But
Linnea Quigley.
And Linnea Quigley.
Oh yeah,
and her death
Quigley.
Right up on the horns.
Best scene.
Exactly.
His name is Billy.
His name is Billy. Okay.
Billy. And Ricky's in the second. That's his brother.
That's his brother.
Second, third.
But I gotta admit, even though those are my favorite, like that those are great movies, and traditionally Silent Night, Deadly Night was the movie I always lean towards. A few years ago, an amazing movie, a foreign film, came out that absolutely blew me away, and it is actually now I consider my go-to horror movie for Christmas. Rare Exports.
I remember you trying to get me to watch it. And
I don't like subtitles.
That's nice.
No,
Moving on.
that's not what I said.
I know. I just like making fun of you.
Rare Exports is a good movie. I thought it was very well done.
Rare Exports is fantastic.
It was great to watch. Certainly not one of my go-to movies, but it wasn't a bad movie by any means.
Yeah.
But to each their own.
I guess it was just because I liked it. Like I had followed and seen the original shorts first. And then I was excited to see that a movie was coming, and then I lost track and never actually saw the movie because you couldn't really get digital movies at the time, and then all of a sudden the DVD and Blu-ray appear, and I'm like, it's amazing. So it's one of my go-to Christmas movies, if not anything. If I only get to really sit down and see one that's not part of the episode streams that we're going to be doing this year, it'll probably be Rare Exports again. And the wife absolutely hates it because it just totally dicks with her childhood, and it's great. So
dicks with her childhood.
It dicks with the childhood memory of Christmas and snow and Santa. So oh well. So gentlemen,
and last year we talked about Krampus.
And last year we did talk about Krampus. That was a good movie.
That was a pretty decent movie. I mean, it certainly wasn't as good as Trick or Treat.
Well, it could have been better.
It could have been better. Yeah, it wasn't bad, but it definitely had a lot of potential.
I loved the design of Krampus. I thought he was fantastic, and when he gets a close up to him, and it's kind of like a mask that he's got on, it was fantastic. I loved it.
Yeah,
I thought it was cool. He almost reminded me of like a Jim Henson puppet from Dark Crystal or Labyrinth or something. You know what I mean? Like the big shoulders up, but like the head in the middle. I like the design, but anytime I've ever seen an image of Krampus, it's almost like it's more demonic, more satanic,
devilish.
With the horns, very like Baphomet with like a Christmas hat on and a fake beard. You know what I mean?
and a switch of twigs to slap you with.
Yeah, like I like the design that they used, but I wish that it would have been a little bit more traditional, because he seemed very slow and lumbering for most of the movie, but then you see that amazing scene where he's jumping from rooftop to rooftop, which in my opinion is like my favorite part of that film.
Yeah.
I just wish there was more of that.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, gentlemen, so I guess right now we'll tell everybody what we're going to actually talk about tonight, and then we're going to jump over and actually get to talking to it after a quick break. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's episode, we will be... Oh, Tim, go ahead. Go.
No, go ahead.
Okay, it's me. Dave?
Me.
Okay.
Me?
No.
All right. How about we do it? We do it together. So
that's gonna turn out terribly. But let's do that.
No. One of us says the name of the series, and then one of us says the episode name.
Okay. I say the beginning part, and then Tim, and then
okay,
Dave.
go.
Okay.
All right.
Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we will be talking about Tim.
Tales from the Crypt
presents And All Through the House.
Yay! Yay! Very well done. Very well done. So tonight for this, we're actually going to be doing a discussion and a comparative between the original 1970-something movie version segment, and then we will be comparing it to the actual Tales from the Crypt episode, Season 1, Episode 2, from the television series, which was kind of a more in-depth version of the original movie segment. So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, ladies and gentlemen, Tales from the Crypt and All Through the House. See you in a minute.
Hi everybody, this is Vincent De Santis, the writer and director of Friday the 13th fan film Never Hike Alone, and you are listening to the great commentary of They Cast from the Coast. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to check out Never Hike Alone, which is streaming for free on YouTube right now.
Welcome back, everybody, as we jump into our discussion on the first of this year's December to Dismember. It's back! Yay! Woohoo! Good job, Tim. Excellent.
Nice.
So, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, as we discuss, we will be talking about Tales from the Crypt and All Through the House. We're going to start the episode discussion on the movie, and then we'll work to the episode, the actual TV episode of Tales from the Crypt itself, too. So, starting off with the movie, we are going to talk about the story. David?
Me?
Yes.
Oh, shit. Nothing like putting me on the spot. Let's do it!
Yeah, let's do it! Dave, do it! Pressure's on!
Oh, this hat's itchy. Hang on a second. Oh, there we go. All right. Tales from the Crypt. 1972. Amicus put out the Tales from the Crypt anthology movie, which included And All Through the House. And All Through the House was actually based on The Vault of Horror, issue number 35, the short story in The Vault of Horror. And this story is about a woman who, in the 1972 movie version, is played by Joan Collins. And we see that it's Christmas Eve, and we're in the house. Her husband is putting a gift under the tree for her, and it looks like we're settling in for a nice Christmas Eve, and he sits down to read a newspaper, and all of a sudden we hear a whacking sound. Blood splashes against the inside of the newspaper that he's reading, so we don't actually see his face at this point. We just kind of see blood spatter hit the newspaper, and next thing you know, the guy's falling over, and she's standing behind him with a fire poker. So she's brutally murdered her husband on Christmas Eve while her daughter is asleep upstairs waiting for Santa, and now she has to try and dispose of the body. And in typical Tales from the Crypt fashion, it's not as easy as it sounds. In fact, the twist is that there's an escaped lunatic on the loose on Christmas Eve, and he happens to be wearing a Santa outfit. And lo and behold, said lunatic wearing the Santa outfit is lurking around outside her house. So she's just murdered her husband. She has to dispose of the evidence, and we have a killer Santa running around outside in a snowstorm on Christmas Eve. And it's a great setup. It's a perfect it's a perfect story. I mean, for a short story, a twist, which Tales from the Crypt is so famous for. And it's like, what do you do? So, do I spoil the ending? Do I talk? What do you think, guys? I mean,
do you want to know what? I think it's just me. You should put a pause in it. Right? And keep talking about maybe characters and stuff, and then move into the second half of this discussion, which is, in my opinion, what very could well be the far superior version of this story.
Yeah, true.
Right?
Mm-hmm. And then we'll talk about the ending and compare the two at the same time.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yep.
Okay, so story and outline. So, Tim, do you have anything to add to the story this way? It is the story. It's the story.
Well, to be absolutely honest, I haven't watched this movie in years. so long that I actually forgot that this was one of them from it. The only version of this story that I know, aside from seeing the comic online, is the actual '89 TV series, which, like I said, it's the only one that I know, right? So,
okay, all right. So, interestingly enough, about the story having to do with this, it does vary between the two. So, here's some of the details about this version itself. In this version, she beats him over the head. It's very interesting. And he falls down on this big white shaggy carpet with minimal blood, by the way. The vast majority of the blood that comes from his head wound ends up on a newspaper. Doesn't even soak the newspaper. It just kind of pools on top. It's kind of funny. But that's a bit of a like a decision that they made due to how they wrote the segment itself. Because to try and dispose of the body, or not necessarily dispose of it, but she wants to make it look like an accident. And what she does is she takes the body, chucks it down the stairwell into the unfinished basement, the cement floor. Then she takes like a cake,
like a
cake knife, and she starts scraping the blood into a wine glass, a champagne glass or something. And then she takes it downstairs and starts pouring this very much so Dario Argento red foamy type blood all over like the guy's forehead and down on the ground to make it look like he fell down the flight of stairs. And the bit of the kicker and the twist on this is that her reasoning for doing this, obviously they're having a bad marriage of some kind, and she's always like, you son of a bitch, and screw you and all this stuff. But she ends up unlocking his safe, which is behind like a picture on the wall, and she finds his his insurance policy. Yeah. And she's confirming all the details and rewriting some details and modifying some shit, and then she puts it back safely and puts the keys back in his pocket for this safe. So she's basically killed him, and he fell down the stairs, and she wants to claim an insurance policy on him. Interestingly about this is that this Santa Claus was creepy in an interesting way. So let's talk about the acting and the characters themselves, Dave.
So the main actress is played by Joan Collins.
Yeah.
And I guess to look at the way that it was cast, basically the way that this segment is acted versus certainly the newer version, which came out in '89, this is a British production.
Yeah.
And it plays like a 1970s movie. So it's light on gore, like you said, Adam, with minimal blood. There is a little bit, but it's minimal. Even the blood itself, I mean, it looks like paint. You see when she tries to wash it off her hands later, it's literally just
like latex paint.
like a pinkish latex type paint. It's clearly paint and not blood. But I mean, that aside, the Tales from the Crypt and All Through the House movie version plays very much like an older British movie. I mean, the way it's written, the atmosphere, it's one of the things I compare, to the newer one, the remake. The remake is a lot more action oriented. It's a little bit scarier.
More Americanized.
This one is playing. It's Americanized. This one here is playing more for style, more for suspense.
Yeah.
And it literally, tries to present the audience sitting on the edge of their seat, wondering what's going to happen next. I think Joan Collins did a wonderful job playing the part. Can't really say a whole lot for her husband. I mean, he's around for all of but 30 seconds in the movie.
He smokes a cigar and tells, yells to his wife that he loves her before he puts the gift under the tree.
Yeah. The daughter, the little girl, I mean, has minimal screen time as well. And certainly she plays kind of the pivotal role, as we'll talk about here shortly. And the only other character really is the Santa Claus, which, again, it's played for subtlety. I mean, he's a lunatic, escaped from a mental asylum, but he's not like deformed or anything like that. He looks more like a homeless man who had stolen a Santa Claus outfit, and he's deranged. He's just trying to break into the house. You're not really sure exactly what he's trying to do. Certainly he's a crazed killer, but it's not like he's wielding an axe or some sort of weapon. He's literally just he's crazy and he's just trying to break in, and he's only got his hands. You know what I mean? Like it's played so differently between the two different versions. Yeah. And that's what I find. It's very much a British production versus an Americanized version of the show.
Yeah. Okay. I'd ask Tim, but Tim hasn't seen this one in a while, unless he wants to comment. Okay. Okay.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I am a proprietor. I am a pioneer of one of those people that whoever did it first usually is the superior version. But like I said, I completely forgot that this segment was in that film. Mm-hmm. I don't even remember. Like when I think of, all through the house, I think of the Robert Zemeckis episode,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, which was fantastic. So, and we'll be talking about that here shortly. So, in terms of what David said for the acting, I don't really have too much more to add to that for the most part. Really what it comes down to is that it is very British, it is very 70s, it's a thriller more than a horror story. So it's all about the suspense of the fact that something is looming, and you don't really actually see it very often, or the Santa Claus himself. You see his arm come through a window, or you see his face appear quickly in a pane of glass, but that's about it. So and gore and effects. It's more for suspense. It is more for suspense. And we already touched on gore and effects. Gore and effects, a little bit of blood. That was it. And on the deranged Santa Claus killer, who looks more like a hobo Santa Claus, he has basically some scarring and a couple of cuts.
It almost looks like burns or something on his face.
Yeah. But that's about it. But he basically just looks like an elderly homeless man who just wants to kill this woman for no reason because he's psychotic. So we're going to actually just kind of jump on to overall feelings on this one, Dave.
I think it's good. The problem is that, certainly after rewatching it, after having not seen it for many years, it's good, but I do feel as though it feels dated. Everything from the decor, the odd paint, the decor of the house, the shag rug. Nobody decorates their house like that anymore. Even just the wardrobes and the makeup, the hairstyles, everything. It's a very dated episode. It's not a bad thing. It's just it's dated. You know what I mean? It doesn't hold up as well. It's a product of its time. It's a very British production, and if you were to watch other British productions from that time frame, mid 70s or so, early to mid 70s, they're going to look very similar. Nothing wrong with that. It's a different cup of tea.
I got what you did.
And with that, I'm cutting you off, Dave. You're cut off. That's
Sorry.
it. That's it. So I agree with everything that you said, David. It is a good movie segment, and the whole Tales from the Crypt movie is actually really good. A lot of people don't even know it exists. When you say Tales from the Crypt, the first thing they think of is the TV show or the comics, and they totally forget that this and The Vault of Horror were actually movie anthologies back in the 70s. So, it is what it is. I like it. It's good. It's definitely not as good as the Robert Zemeckis TV series one, which we're going to talk about next. And Tim, now that Tim knows, Tim can talk a little bit more. Tim
can talk.
Story and outline. Give us a little bit more of a story and outline with the Robert Zemeckis version.
Okay, so this one is pretty similar. They're using the same,
it's the same source material.
Yeah, same source material. Yeah. So the story is, on Christmas Eve, a mother is the wife. I don't even think they have a name. Yeah, no, it's wife. played by Mary Ellen Trainor, who is best known as Mrs. Walsh from the Goonies.
Yay!
She is standing behind her husband, who happens to be, there, Marshall Bell, who is a big 80s actor as well. Mm-hmm. What movie was he in with Arnold? Was it Twins?
Yes, I do believe it was Twins. Yeah.
Oh, and he was in
Total Recall.
Total Recall too. Yeah. So, anyways, Marshall Bell, the husband, is sitting there, and like I said, it's Christmas Eve, and he says to her, "This is my favorite line of dialogue." Okay, she's standing behind him, and she's like, right, anxious and stuff, and she's got like the fire poker, and he says to her, very nonchalant, something about the fire going out. "You've got the poker," and she's like, "Yes." "So let me have it." "What did you say?" And he goes, "Are you deaf? I said let me have it." And with that, boom! Right in the head. He's dead. Christmas Eve. Awesome. Right at that same moment, their daughter comes down the stairs talking about she can't sleep. She's really excited. Wants Santa to come. And the mother's like, oh, shit. So, she puts the poker behind her back and puts her back to bed. When she comes back to the living room, she hits him in the head with the fireplace poker, and she gets on the phone, and I'm assuming it's something to do with life insurance, or he had money put away, or something along those lines, because she's talking to this mysterious lover on the phone saying, "It's done, I did it, we're rich."
I know you said not to call.
Yeah. And basically, it kind of plays out like the original movie, where there is an escaped Santa, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, this story, when I saw it, terrified the hell out of me. I was 10 years old, and it scared the fuck out of me, because this creepy Santa, played amazingly by Larry Drake. Holy shit. So, he shows up dressed like Santa while she's trying to dump the body, and then he comes through the window. She gets the axe. She hits him over the head. She thinks she knocked him out. He's laying almost like he's about ready to make a snow angel in the yard, and a deputy or police officer calls and says, "You should be on the lookout. There's an escaped patient. He's wielding an axe. He's dressed as Santa. Dangerous. Lock your doors. Lock your windows. Do not go outside. Beware of this man." And she starts thinking, right? And, I completely drew a blank. I watched it like 4 times.
It's okay, man. I feel your pain. I've done the same thing.
What happens next? Anyways, so she decides to blame her husband's death on this Santa. So she still has the axe. Oh, it was brilliant. She goes outside, and there's this real comedic scene of her, and she just doesn't want to look because her husband's laying dead below her. And she's got the axe, and she's going to basically take the axe that she has and put it in his head to make it look like that's how he died. Mm-hmm. And she closed her eyes, and when she opens them, it's like right next to his head. And then she does it again, and it's the other side of his head. And then finally she does it, and she goes in, back in the house, and she works herself up, calls 911, and says, he's here, I knocked him out, he killed my husband, blah, 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 blah. And at some point, she looks out the window, and he's gone. And she looks at the husband, and the husband's got the axe out of his head, and he's kind of, turned over haphazardly. And she's back on the phone, and they ask for her address, and she gives it, and they said, "Do you have a weapon in the house?" And she's like, "Oh my God, my husband's gun!" Runs upstairs, goes into the closet, and and this is one of the things that I noticed with a lot of Robert Zemeckis movies, like the focus was on the gun in this shot,
on the top of the closet.
And there was like this perspective, and it was just awesome. Anyways, as she's reaching for the gun, this ladder goes up the side of her house, and the Santa is climbing up, right? And she can see this because in the closet there's this little tiny window, very conveniently placed. And she sees the Santa, and he looks in at her, right? And it's creepy as hell. The door locks. She can't get out. She's screaming because the Santa is going up to her daughter's room. Now, the daughter, I don't know if she has ADD. She's just excited for Christmas. I have no idea of this little girl's mental health. But she wakes up, she sees Santa climbing up the ladder, and she's like helping him. Santa, I knew you'd come, Santa. Yeah, right? And the mother is in the closet freaking out, trying to get out. The doorknob falls off. She finally breaks out. She gets upstairs, finally into her daughter's room, and the window's wide open. The daughter's not there. And she's like, blah, blah, blah. What was the daughter's name? Carrie Ann. She comes down the stairs, and she hears Carrie Ann's voice, Mommy. And just off camera, it's like holding the hand, and in walks the Santa. And do you guys want to say?
Yes, go right for it now.
No. You guys say it. Go.
I told you he was real.
Okay, and then what does he say?
Naughty or nice.
Oh, that's creepy tell. He's got the axe, and then you just get this very drawn out scream fest by Mary Ellen Trainor.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't move. She actually sits down on the steps, staring at the Santa with this little girl, and she just screams. Fade to black, and then we get the Crypt Keeper.
All right, so before we go any further, let's compare that, because we said we were going to talk about the endings together, kind of.
Right.
The ending of the original, the one from the 70s in the movie, in fact, the same situation does occur. The daughter comes out, look, Ma, I told you that he was real, but the Santa just kind of stares at her and then runs at her. She runs into the living room to grab the poker from the fire, and as she gets onto her knees and bends forward to get the poker, he runs up behind her, grabs her on the back, like from behind, on the neck, and starts choking her. And what does she do? And then it fades to black. That's it. Mm-hmm. He's going to choke her from behind. She's got a poker. She can't jab him in the head. Nothing like that. No, she
just killed her husband. She's
already killed
desensitized
once,
to this.
But she's already killed once. She should be able to kill again.
Exactly. She's the homicidal maniac.
That's right. But it was kind of weak ass ending in the original. In all honesty.
Well, yeah.
But you know what? I honestly feel the TV series, this episode was also a weak ending, but I'm attributing it to the fact that they only had an allotted amount of time to talk about it, and there was only so much that they could show on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it would have been cool to end it just even with a quick shot of him coming at her with the axe or something like that. It would have been really cool.
Or just he asked the question, naughty or nice, and then he decides the answer, naughty, and then it fades to black as he's coming up the stairs with the axe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Dave. We keep cutting you off. Go ahead.
I forget what I was going to say now. Those endings were pretty much identical. I mean, the girl in the original lets him in through the front door. In this one, obviously, we go through the whole climbing up the roof thing. And that's when I talked earlier about the two different versions briefly, and the second one being a lot more action-oriented. There's a lot more going on in the remake. And that's what I find is that it's scarier. It's there's a lot more going on. It's based on the same material, but it's Robert Zemeckis' interpretation of that source material. He took the source material but put his own spin on it, and the script was actually written by Fred Decker in the remake.
Nice.
I mean, Monster Squad, Night of the Creeps, Fred Decker. I mean, it's got everything going for it, and they succeeded. And as far as the ending goes, it's very much a Tales from the Crypt ending.
Yeah.
I mean, for the most part, it's...
You know what's going to happen.
Yeah, you know what's going to happen. They don't need to show it.
Almost
they cut it.
90% of Tales from the
Crypt.
90% of Tales from the Crypt TV show episodes end with somebody screaming.
I mean, you kind of got this little throwaway line epilogue from the Crypt Keeper at the end, and he goes, "Don't worry about little Carrie Ann. He likes them older, right?" Which is assuming that the
kid's okay.
Yeah, the kid's okay, but the mother, she's dead.
But it could but then you got to think theoretically. Does she turn into the next, serial killing murderer? Silent Night, Deadly Night style? She witnessed her parents being murdered? Well, her mother at least.
That's a fan theory started here tonight on Big House from the Coast.
Don't forget it.
No, forget it.
royalties, and all right, I got nothing else.
All right, nothing. Excellent. So in the remake episode, the gore and effects, we'll take just a couple seconds to talk about that because really there's not a lot. The majority of the effects in this are what they did with Larry Drake. Really, his makeup and his wardrobe and the looks of that. And my favorite scene in this one, where she pops the poker into his head. She doesn't like run him through or just hit him with it. She hits him square down the top of the head and it sticks in his head. And she's trying to take it out and his head's beaten off the table and she's trying to pull it out. Really well done effects. Nothing overly done about it. Nothing overly complicated looking, but it just effective for what it was. It made for a good point to tell the story.
Like I said, I watched it like probably an hour ago now, and aside from the video quality, everything else stands the test of time. I like you said, Adam. I thought the crazy Santa. I thought the makeup effects on him were great. I thought when she takes the axe and puts it, like, it was just edited well. The special effects were done really well. It looked like blood.
Yeah,
it did.
It did.
Yeah. Wasn't foamy and red.
No,
that's about it. So we're actually getting low on time, so we're gonna wrap this up here in a second, but we're gonna actually go around just kind of overall feelings on the story and everything.
I really enjoyed this episode in the total Tales from the Crypt series. This is the one that always stands out because I remember it as a kid, but watching it a couple times as an adult and an hour ago, I'm really impressed with the amount of suspense that they were able to translate into a 22-minute episode. Mm-hmm. And like there was points where it almost felt almost like taking cues from Alfred Hitchcock. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And it was very suspenseful with slasher elements, right? And it was just kind of one of those, what's that, everything that could go wrong does go wrong.
Yeah.
Occam's Razor or something like that. Is that what that's called? Like a plot device? Everything that goes wrong? Yeah. That's what was happening to this woman. All she wanted to do was kill her husband and get money. It was a simple little plan.
Simple.
It was simple. She had a plan of what she was going to do with the thing, and then it just got complicated with this psycho Santa, and then she thought she could blame. Overall, I really enjoyed this. I thought the acting was great, aside from the scream fest at the end. I thought it was great.
Dave?
I'm a huge fan of Tales from the Crypt. I'm a huge fan of anthologies and short films and all that good stuff. If I had to compare the two, yes, I like the original, but I would sooner sit down and watch the Robert Zemeckis 89 remake over the original. And normally it's the reverse, right? Like normally the original is far superior, and I think you mentioned that earlier, Tim. Mm-hmm. But in this case, I think that the reinterpretation of that source material, it was updated, it was made a lot scarier. They had a lot more wiggle room this time around in 1989 versus 1972.
It really benefited from being, I guess you could say, more modernized, but I mean that's still 30 years ago now. But
yeah, it benefited from an updated take on that material. I think it was very well done, and that's one of the cool things about the Tales from the Crypt, the TV series, is that we had so many cool short stories. We had so many of these types of stories from the comics being translated onto screen by guest directors and guest writers and all this kind of stuff, and they had just as much fun making it as what we have watching it, and it's a very fun TV show. And not saying the original is bad by any means, but it's today, looking back on it, it's dated, it feels dated, unfortunately, and it's a product of its era. And if it came down to it, I'd rather probably sit down today and watch the remake. And I've watched them both this past weekend.
Nice.
So, anyway, yeah.
Excellent.
My 2 cents.
Well said, everybody, and I mean, I share the same sentiments. I love the remake. I like the original. It's a great story. It's a great addition to the whole Tales from the Crypt universe. It's atypical. It's got its bloody little twists. Everything's good. So if you haven't seen it, ladies and gentlemen, we recommend it. Go out and see them both, really. Make your own decision. So with that, everybody, please remember to like, subscribe, check us out on Facebook, join the Facebook group, share out our episodes with your friends. Don't forget to check us out on Patreon. All the links are on our Facebook page. We are picking up steam. People just love the show, and I'm happy that people love the show. So shout out to everybody. So quick shout out to our 2 latest patrons. We have Mr. Josh Lambert. Yeah! And we have Mr. Joel Hurtle. Joel Hurtle. Hey. Thank you, guys. And you'll be seeing this episode before everybody else. That's a benefit to being the Patreons, by the way, everybody. You get to see some content before everybody else. So until next time, Dave.
Good night, everybody.
Tim.
Stay jolly, everybody.
Stay jolly.
Stay jolly. Good
Very
one.
nicely said. See you next time, everybody. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in this week to They Cast from the Coast. We hope you enjoyed the topic and the discussion that we've had tonight. We're very excited about everything that's being produced right now in conjunction with the Misunderstood Art Company. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, say hi in the comments section, and just in general, check out the other content that's being offered, once again, under the Misunderstood Art Company. If you want to listen just to the audio portion of this show itself, we're making it available on iTunes, Google Play, and TuneIn on top of the YouTube channel itself. So thank you very much again for your continued support. Check out the rest of the Misunderstood Art Company's offerings. You might even see some familiar faces. And until next time, take it easy.